Hey everyone, and welcome back to Daily Football Protocol. Today, we're diving deep into something that's got the football world buzzing, the new World Cup format and structure. Now, I know what you might be thinking, another change? But trust me, there's a lot to unpack here, and it's going to reshape the beautiful game as we know it. For decades, the World Cup has been a familiar friend. 32 teams, 8 groups, a month of thrilling action culminating in one champion. It was a formula that worked, a tradition etched in our minds. But FIFA, the global governing body of football, decided it was time for an upgrade. Why? Well, it's a mix of expansion, global reach, and let's be honest, a bit of commercial appeal. The most significant change, and the one that's probably already on your radar, is the expansion from 32 to 48 teams. That's a massive jump, and it's going to have a ripple effect on every aspect of the tournament. More teams mean more opportunities for nations that have historically struggled to qualify, giving a truly global feel to what is already the most global sporting event. Imagine the excitement in countries that have only ever dreamed of reaching the World Cup finals, now having a more realistic shot. So, how will these 48 teams be accommodated? This is where the new structure comes into play, and it's been the subject of a lot of discussion and a few different proposals. Initially, there was talk of 16 groups of 3 teams, with the top 2 progressing to a round of 32. This format had its advantages, primarily fewer group stage games for each team, leading to more rest. However, it also raised concerns about potential collusion in the final group games, where 2 teams could play out a result that benefited both at the expense of the third team. This gentleman's agreement scenario was a major sticking point for many. Thankfully, it seems FIFA has listened to some of these concerns. The most recent and likely format we'll see is a move to 12 groups of 4 teams. This brings back the traditional 4-team group structure that we're all familiar with. In this setup, the top 2 teams from each group will advance to the knockout stages, along with the 8 best third-place teams. This means a new round of 32, adding an extra layer to the knockout phase and more high-stakes matches. Let's break down what this means for the tournament's overall length and the number of matches. With 48 teams and 12 groups of 4, we're looking at a substantial increase in games. The total number of matches will jump from 64 to a staggering 104. That's a lot more football, which for many fans is fantastic news. However, it also extends the tournament's duration, potentially pushing it closer to 40 days instead of the traditional 30 to 32. This extended schedule will undoubtedly put more strain on players who already face packed club seasons. One of the biggest impacts of this expansion is on continental qualification. Each confederation will see an increase in its allocation of World Cup spots. For example, Africa, CAF, will go from 5 to 9 direct slots. Asia, AFC, from 4.5 to 8, and so on. This is a huge win for these regions, offering more pathways to the pinnacle of international football. It's about spreading the joy and competition of the World Cup to more corners of the globe. But it's not just about the number of teams and games. The new format also brings a fresh dynamic to the group stages. With the best third-place teams advancing, every single match will potentially have more riding on it. Even if a team loses their first 2 games, a strong performance in their final group match could still see them through. This could lead to more exciting and unpredictable group stages with fewer dead rubbers. Of course, with any major change, there are always pros and cons. On the positive side, we have increased global representation, more thrilling matches, and a greater opportunity for smaller nations to shine on the world stage. It's an exciting prospect that could unearth new footballing talent and create even more iconic World Cup moments. However, there are legitimate concerns too. The increased number of matches and the extended tournament length will put immense pressure on player welfare. We're already seeing discussions about fixture congestion in club football, and the World Cup adding more games to an already packed calendar will only exacerbate this issue. There's also the question of maintaining the quality and prestige of the tournament. Will diluting the pool of teams lead to more one-sided matches in the early stages? That remains to be seen.
Another factor to consider is the logistical challenge for host nations. Staging a 48-team tournament with 104 matches will require even more infrastructure, stadiums, and training facilities. This could limit the number of countries capable of bidding and hosting the World Cup, potentially leading to more joint bids or a focus on larger, more developed footballing nations.
The 2026 World Cup is set to be a monumental event, hosted across Canada, Mexico, and the United States. With more teams, more games, and an even grander stage, the competition is going to be fierce. But who are the early favorites? Which nations are building formidable squads? Let's break it down, starting with some of the traditional powerhouses. You can never count out the usual suspects. Brazil, with their incredible depth of talent, will always be a team to watch. They're constantly producing world-class players, and their attacking flair is legendary. Imagine Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, and a new generation of Samba stars unleashed on the world stage. Their blend of experience and youthful exuberance will be truly exciting. Then there's France. The defending champions from 2018 and finalists in 2022, they have a conveyor belt of talent that seems endless. Kylian Mbappe will likely be at the peak of his powers, leading a squad that could feature new defensive titans and creative midfielders. Their athleticism and tactical discipline make them incredibly difficult to beat. And of course, Argentina. Can Lionel Messi still be leading the charge? Perhaps not as a starter, but his influence could still be felt. More likely, we'll see a new generation stepping up, inspired by their recent triumph. Players like Enzo Fernandez and Julian Alvarez will be more mature, ready to carry the torch. The passion and belief that runs through that squad is infectious. But the landscape of international football is always shifting. England, for example, has been consistently building a strong squad. They have an abundance of young, technically gifted players already making waves in the Premier League. Think about the likes of Jude Bellingham, Bukayo Saka, and Phil Foden, all entering their prime. Could 2026 finally be their year to bring football home? Spain, too, is undergoing a fascinating transition. They continue to prioritize technical proficiency and possession-based football. With players like Gavi and Pedri gaining invaluable experience and new talents emerging from La Liga academies, they'll be a force to be reckoned with. Their intricate passing and movement will always be a joy to watch. And Germany, always a threat, despite some recent struggles. They have a rich football and history and an incredible infrastructure for developing talent. They'll be desperate to reassert their dominance, and you can expect a highly organized, disciplined, and technically proficient side in 2026. The next generation of German stars will be hungry for glory. Now let's talk about some potential dark horses. Every World Cup has its surprises, and 2026 will be no different. The Netherlands always boasts exciting talent, and their tactical flexibility makes them a tricky opponent. Portugal, with or without Cristiano Ronaldo, has a wealth of individual brilliance and could make a deep run. And let's not forget the African nations. Morocco's incredible run in 2022 showed the world what's possible. They'll be looking to build on that success, as will other strong African teams like Senegal, Egypt, all of whom possess immense talent and athleticism. The Asian teams are also showing significant progress, with Japan and South Korea continually raising their game. But a World Cup isn't just about the teams, it's about the individuals who seize the moment. So who are the players we absolutely must keep an eye on? Of course, Kylian Mbappe will be a central figure. His pace, power, and clinical finishing are unmatched. He'll be entering the tournament with even more experience and an insatiable hunger for a second World Cup winner's medal. Then there are the midfield maestros. Jude Bellingham will be a force, combining defensive solidity with attacking prowess. Jamal Musiala from Germany, with his dazzling dribbling and vision, could light up the tournament. And keep an eye on emerging talents like Gavi and Pedri, who will be even more mature and influential.
In attack, beyond Mbappe, look out for Vinicius Jr. from Brazil, whose electrifying runs and creativity can unlock any defense. Bukayo Saka from England, with his intelligent movement and goal threat, will be a key player for his nation. And don't forget about the next generation of strikers who will be emerging in the next few years. The beautiful game is always evolving, and new heroes are always waiting in the wings.
Tactically, we can expect to see a continuation of the high-intensity pressing game that has dominated club football. The physical demands on players will be immense, especially with the expanded format. Adaptability and squad depth will be crucial. We'll likely see teams needing to rotate players more frequently to maintain freshness throughout the tournament. The role of wingbacks continues to evolve, becoming almost as important as traditional wingers in both attack and defense, and the rise of versatile midfielders who can play multiple roles will be key to dominating the center of the park. It's going to be a fascinating tactical battleground. The 2026 World Cup promises to be a spectacular event, a true celebration of global football. The anticipation is already building, and I, for one, cannot wait to see which teams rise to the occasion and which players etch their names into history. What do you think? Which teams are you most excited to watch? Who are your dark horses, and which players do you predict will be the breakout stars? Let me know in the comments below. Your predictions are always incredibly insightful. The 2026 tournament is widely anticipated as the final international act for two of football's greatest players, Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, both of whom will be nearing 40. The race for a sixth. Both players are on track to make history by becoming the first male players to appear in 6 World Cups. This milestone alone will dominate the narrative. Messi's title defense. Lionel Messi will be 39. Having won the 2022 World Cup, he comes in as the reigning champion. The question is, will he be the primary talisman, or will he transition into a more creative leadership role to mentor the next generation of Argentinian stars? Ronaldo's final quest. Ronaldo will be 41. He has confirmed that 2026 will be his last World Cup. Having achieved virtually everything else in football, will this be his final desperate push to win the one major trophy that has always eluded him? The generational shift. Their presence will inevitably be contrasted with the rising young stars who are expected to dominate, such as Erling Haaland, assuming Norway qualifies, and Jude Bellingham. Will 2026 be the tournament where the old guard finally, gracefully, hands over the baton to the new one? Emotional impact. Regardless of performance, what will the emotional impact be on fans and the media as the world watches the final World Cup minutes of these two epic-defining players? The 2026 World Cup will not just be about the farewells of Messi and Ronaldo, but the coronation of the players who will define football for the next decade. The confirmed superstars in their prime. These players are already global figures and will be entering the tournament in their absolute physical and technical peak. Erling Haaland, Norway, 2026 age 25, turns 26 in July 2026. After missing out on the 2022 tournament, the world's most prolific center forward will finally make his World Cup debut. Norway has successfully qualified, powered by his goals. The central question is, can one man's brilliance carry a dark horse nation to an unthinkable height?
Jude Bellingham, England, 2026, age 23. Already a superstar at Real Madrid, Bellingham will be the undisputed heartbeat of a highly rated England squad. He's a complete midfielder known for his leadership and goal-scoring threat. The spotlight will be intense to see if he can lead England to their first final in 60 years. Jamal Musiala, Germany, 2026, age 23. Germany will be playing under immense pressure in the tournament cycle. Musiala, a technically gifted and electric attacking midfielder, is the creative engine the country is building around. His performance will dictate if Germany returns to the global elite. The 2026 World Cup promises to be a spectacular event, a true celebration of global football. The anticipation is already building, and I, for one, cannot wait to see which teams rise to the occasion and which players etch their names into history. What do you think? Which teams are you most excited to watch? Who are your dark horses, and which players do you predict will be the breakout stars? Let me know in the comments below. Your predictions are always incredibly insightful. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more in-depth football analysis, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our future content. Until next time, keep enjoying the beautiful game.